People think a life of sobriety is sacrificing the fun, but it really isn't. You just have to be bold enough to take that step to try it. And once you get across the line, you're like, wow. And we should put our lives first. I've always lived by the idea that I work to live, I don't live to work. Pressure is a privilege to a certain degree, but sometimes too much pressure is too much pressure. And I think mental health, I took a break from social media once and felt the need to kind of announce it because I didn't want people to worry that, I had disappeared or something, I don't know. I really started feeling the benefits. I started sleeping better, I was handling stressful situations better, my relationship was better, my relationship with my family was better, my relationship with my work was better. And I think mental health, I took a break from social media once and felt the need to kind of announce it because I didn't want people to worry that, I had disappeared or something, I don't know. And that also was met with a negative reaction of oh, you can't hack it, you can't handle social media. I just think that sometimes it's important to look up and engage with what's around you and I find for me with social media, I can easily sit on the couch for 4 hours and scroll, and I haven't had Instagram on my phone. I'll download it to post something or download it if a friend of mine's posts something and I want to like it for them. But 99% of the time, I don't have it on my phone. And my life is so much better for not being completely glued to this false world that we have on our phones.
Yeah.
But it's a shame, and I really hope it changes because I think self-preservation is so important, and only a fool would say to you, you should work until you crack. Because if you crack, it's going to take you longer to get back to full fitness and work at your top capacity. So for me, taking these strategic little breaks where you can rest and recoup and come back your best self is really important and something that should be heralded rather than chastised. Because at the beginning, as a young kid, you try to fit into the LA world. And now that I've grown up a little bit and I know that it isn't my place to be, but I used to go to these parties and be like, I can't speak to someone until I'm drunk. I've got to get this going. And now that I've kicked that and I found replacements that make me feel like I'm a part of the process, I'm a very confident person, but I'm more confident when I'm pretending to be someone else because the ramifications of your actions aren't real because you're pretending. So I would get really uncomfortable and not confident in social scenarios out in public. And
when you're just being you.
When I'm just being myself. And I think that's why I really latched onto drinking because it masked that insecurity with stupidity, I guess, a little bit. I didn't decide to put the booze in the rear view to begin with. I just decided to do dry January. And in doing dry January, it really scared me because I had a really tough time. I couldn't quite wrap my head around how much I was struggling without booze in that first month, and it really scared me. So I decided as a sort of punishment to myself that I would do February as well as January, and I would do 2 months. The second month was no easier. If anything, it got a little bit harder. So then again, I was starting to kind of panic thinking, damn, I have a bit of an alcohol thing. I'd had quite an upsetting conversation with a doctor about my liver a year earlier. And as a young kid, I ignored the doctor as we all do. And I started to think oh, wow, maybe I have a bit of an issue here. So then I started to go, I'll do March. And I got through March and started to feel a little bit better, but was still really struggling. So I said to myself, if I can make it to June 1st, which is my birthday, and I can do 6 months without booze, I will have then proved to myself that I don't have a problem. I'm just young and enjoying a drink. And then by the time I'd done 6 months sober, I really started feeling the benefits. I started sleeping better. I was handling stressful situations better. My relationship was better. My relationship with my family was better. My relationship with my work was better. And I just sort of said to myself, let's do a year. Let's get through the first year. And then that would be a wonderful achievement. And then by the time I'd crossed that annual mark, I was done. I was like, I'm never going to drink again because this is the best version of myself. People think a life of sobriety is sacrificing the fun, but it really isn't. You just have to be bold enough to take that step to try it. And once you get across the line, you're like, wow.
It's like a Spider-Man movie.
I just was saying it's really interesting, when you're doing press for something, like a film especially, and it's been a secret for so long, when you talk about it for the first time, there is this weird adjustment process of